got a whole pedal board of Align series pedals from LR Bags. Now, they sent this to us here at Acoustic Life Studios, and I'm so happy that they did. They sent us the full deal, the full meal deal, if you will, supersized, of course, on the pedal board. We've got the Session, the Equalizer, the Reverb, and the Active DI. And let me tell you, I want you guys, so I was gonna hold these up and try and describe them, but I want you guys to see an actual close-up version of each of these pedals. So I got a small little video snippet so you can get a visual of what these look like, and then I'll go into the descriptions of each one. So let's have a look at that video real quick. All right, so what's the deal with these pedals? Well, first of all, let me say this. Each of these pedals individually is extremely useful. However, I think when you actually chain them together, the full Align series, that's when their potential is fully realized. So let me start out with the Active DI because I think it's the most utility pedal in the whole entire line. If you're playing live, if you're doing open mics, if you want to plug into a PA at home just to practice, you're going to need a DI. The DI essentially takes your guitar signal, a high impedance signal, and converts it to a low impedance signal so that the mixer can quote unquote read it and get the sound out of the speakers. So the Active DI, the LR Bags Align Series Active DI, is super easy to use. It takes phantom power. It has a ground lift if you're having buzzing issues. It's got a pad so you can actually pad the input if you have a super hot input on your guitar. And it has a phase switch, which will help with either getting better tone out of the DI or squelching feedback if that's an issue. So this is something that I think everybody needs to have, and it has a mute switch on it. Most DIs, like I use a radial passive DI and also the radial active DI, the J48 or the Pro DI. Those are great DIs, but they don't really have any flexibility. You just plug it in and away you go. This one actually has a mute on it, so you can actually cut the signal off if you want to mute or tune or change guitars or what have you. So that's the Active DI. Next, I want to feature the Session. Okay. Now the Session took me a while to figure out actually what it did, but it's pretty simple. The Session is a compressor, which is fantastic if you're playing in a louder setting and you want just that little, you want to squash your signal just a little bit and boost it up above everything else. And it has a saturation feature, which kind of delivers a little bit more rich harmonic content to the signal. I'm going to play through each of these here in a second, but I just wanted to isolate each of these. So this is a fantastic pedal if you want an extra boost, and if you want to just kind of fatten up your sound a little bit, right? Get rid of a little bit of that quack, a little bit of that thinness from acoustic guitar pickups, and just add a little beef to the sound. The next one, Equalizer, is extremely functional, number one, as an EQ, but it doubles as a boost, right? So a lot of times people want to boost if you want to go take a lead for a solo or something like that, and you just need a little bit of oomph to get beyond maybe the sound of the band, the kind of level of the band. You just want to peak out a little bit. The Equalizer will allow you to do that. Plus, it'll allow you to dial in your sound even further. It also has a notch filter, which is fantastic because that's another way to suppress feedback. It also has a phase switch as well. And last but certainly not least, probably my favorite of all of the Align series pedals. If I was to just have to pick one out of the full lineup, I'd pick the Reverb pedal, because the Reverb pedal is just downright cool. I mean, even in its most minimal setting, it just adds a little tail, a little life, a little roominess to your acoustic guitar sound, and then you can get a little crazy with it. And it creates this beautiful wash, this beautiful blossom of tone. So let me play through a couple of these. You won't be able to get the full impact out of each of these just here through the microphone that we have. However, I just wanted to expose you to these, and if your local dealer has these, I want you to try them out. And if you're considering buying one, you can also check them out at acousticlife.tv. All the pricing information is there, and there's a link to each of these pedals. There's a purchase link to each of these pedals, and it's an Amazon referral link. So if you purchase one of the pedals through acousticlife.tv, we'll get a percentage of that sale because it's an Amazon referral link. And what we do is then take that exact percentage and pass it directly to Guitars for Vets as a donation on behalf of all of you guitar geeks that watch Acoustic Tuesday. So kind of an added bonus. So I'm going to just go ahead and engage the DI. So this is just the DI. Boost the signal real nice. Now I'm playing that Faith guitar. It's got a cedar top, it's got solid mahogany back and sides, and it's a Fishman matrix pickup, so it's an under saddle pickup. Next, I'm gonna add the session, okay? This is the session pedal. So immediately, this is without the session, and this is with the session. You can tell it fattens up the tone a ton, and really just gives a lot of life and body to the guitar. So that's just the session. Now I'm gonna disengage the session and engage the EQ pedal. And I'm gonna, actually, let me disengage it. So that's just by itself, and that's with the EQ engaged. Now I've actually focused this a little bit more on the high end. You can hear that, and I'm gonna take the phase button and actually hit that. Bring a little bit of that body back. And as I mentioned before, so this is the EQ engaged. If I want to use it as a boost, I can. There's a plus 6 dB notch on it, so now when I engage it, it's gonna be 6 dB higher. So much louder. So that's a nice feature to have if you want to use it as a boost. And then, as I mentioned before, the reverb pedal. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dial in a realistic reverb setting first, and then I'll get crazy. So this is the reverb pedal. Just a nice kind of lush reverb. And now I'm gonna get a little crazy with it and extend the decay, add more reverb. Hopefully it won't feed back, but this is just fun to mess around with. Just a beautiful, nice blossom, and just a wonderful pedal to have at your disposal. Now, again, you don't have to purchase all of the pedals at once, but I think it really unlocks their potential, their full potential, if you chain them all together as exhibited here on this particular pedal board. But as I mentioned before, you know, each of them singularly has, they're truly effective, and they're very good at what the name says they're good at. So often you get a pedal that kind of does the job, but not really. And so often as acoustic players, we're stuck kind of picking and pulling from the electric guitar market, which isn't bad. There's actually a lot of great crossover pedals there, specifically in the delay department. But having these pedals tailored for an acoustic guitar and being so useful is really a boon to any acoustic guitar player's pedal board, right? Or kind of if you're plugging in, it's a huge boost in that department. And I gotta say, purely, this is very superficial of me, but they look awesome. They look acoustic, and I think that's awesome. When you can look at a pedal and be like, yeah, those are for acoustic guitar. That says a lot. I think LR Baggs does a lot of great stuff internally, but when you can look at the pedal and be like, man, it's cool to look at too, and it's functional. That's a double win. So make sure to check out the full Align series of LR Baggs pedals. I think you'll really dig them. If I was to cite one that I really want you to check out, it's definitely the Reverb. If I was to cite one that every guitar player needs in their bag, it's the Active DI. I love the Session. I love the EQ. Those are awesome to try out as well. But the two that you got to check out are the Reverb and the Active DI. So make sure to check out the full line. You can check it out on LR Baggs' website, or just get there easily at acousticlife.tv/AT68.